So we're here today talking about 5 personal finance books that changed my life. That's right, books that changed my life. So talking about books, I know books, old school books, they're old, they've got lines in them, they've got bits of paper. Some of these books you're going to want to look at and physically read it and look at it and have a paper copy. Other of these books, Audible, podcasts, something like that, you put it on your phone, you listen to it as you're going along, you don't have to physically read it. You just need to take the information in and then run with it later, but it's going to give you information. So let's get going on the first book. Money, a User's Guide. That's the first book. Why is it important? Because it breaks it all down. Call it a dictionary for how to run personal finance. It's going to give you a list of things, student loans, it's going to tell you what they're all about, credit cards, APRs, loans, all of the basic information that you're going to hear in trying to deal with your personal finance matters. It's all in that book. It breaks it down in a language that you're going to be able to look at and go, yeah, that's fine. It's the sort of thing that you'd have, stick it on a bookshelf, stick it on the side of your bed. When you come to it, you go, right, fine, look at that, give me some information and move on. So manage your money like an effing pro, or the alternative, manage your money like an effing grown up. Now, why is that important? Think about it. It's written, first of all, by a guy that's South African. So it was a South African book. It was for that audience, but it's been changed to a UK audience. But what it's going to give you is some practical things on how you can go about managing your personal finance. It's going to take that on a stage. It's going to give you things like graphs. It's going to give you illustrations on things that you can try, and it's even going to give you exercises to practice and then putting them into your life plan so you can move it forward and get control of your finances rather than just forgetting about it. An example would be budgeting. It talks you through what budgeting is. It then gives you a pro forma that you can then use to write down the things that you spend on a monthly basis, weekly, whatever you want it to be, and then what your income is. You can then see what the difference is and use that to plan the next stages that you want to go through. So my lovely third book falls into a category, I don't know, inspirational. Personal finance can be about the basics. How do I do it? What do I do? But there's got to be an inspirational part to it. Think about Steve Jobs. He created this thing called Apple. He threw away all the Apple stuff, came back to it and started all again. That's all about his journey through taking a product which might have been good, might not have been, but he made some decisions about it and then he took that through. That gives you an inspirational feel on how somebody can start with basically nothing or an idea, throw it all away and then start all over again. So we've all heard of a guy called Lord Alan Sugar. He kind of runs this thing called The Apprentice, kind of a thing. Sits there, boardroom, you might have heard, you're fired. Well, he's also written a series of books. One of them is What You See Is What You Get. And again, it's a bit like the Steve Jobs book. It's inspirational. It talks about his journey, why he's got to the things that he's got to, how he's kind of done it. But on the other hand, he's a bit Marmite, isn't he? You either love him or you hate him. And there's a whole genre of books around inspiration. It's not just those two, Steve Jobs, Chris Evans. All those sort of people have written books about how they have taken what they started with, which wasn't very much, and got to the point that they've got to. Chris Evans owns Virgin Radio these days. Well, how did he get to that point? He sold it, remember, and went back to the BBC. Fifth book is an old book. Yeah, I make no excuses for that. It was written in about 1930 by a guy called Dale Carnegie, and it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Why is that important to personal finance? Well, personal finance is all about behaviours, how you deal with things, how other people deal with things. If you can understand the way people think, what they do, how they do it, why they do it, then that can help you on your personal finance journey. It can also help you to talk about money rather than just leaving it behind a closed door. So I know we said at the beginning it's going to be 5 books, but hey, I can't count because I'm an accountant, so we're going to go for 6. So the 6th book is called Extreme Ownership. Now it's by 2 ex-Navy SEALs. And why is it interesting? Because they take real life incidents that they dealt with as SEALs and put those into comparisons into the business sector to enable those gains to be generated in terms of personal finance. So why are those books important to me? Firstly and foremost, some of it is about just basic knowledge and basic understanding. You can't make any decisions on anything without having some knowledge. And there's no point in having some knowledge that's gained from the Google University or Reddit or something like that that's taking you down a rabbit hole and you go, Really, did that make sense? Was that really the case? The first couple of books give you that basic knowledge. The second one builds on that knowledge and then says, okay, look, have some practical things that you can do. Budgeting, thinking about loans, how much can I spend, how much can I borrow, all of that type of stuff. But life isn't just about the basics. You have to have some inspiration in your life. If you don't have inspiration, why are you bothering? What's the point? We can all just go through and go, yeah, this is all great. But with some inspiration, it enables you to then strive to go forward to enable you to do things. The final bit is about understanding people. At the end of the day, personal finance is about money, but personal finance is administered by, that's right, people. And if you don't understand people, it's going to make it really difficult on your personal finance journey. So I've left some links to the books in the description. They're not sponsored. I've got no sponsorship from them. They're just ones that I've enjoyed and learned from. Be great if you could follow, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Speak to you soon.